see a little toggle that you can do between gallery and speaker. So feel free to pick whichever you're most comfortable with. Amy does have a few slides as she goes through her story a little bit, and then we'll be opening it up to everyone and bringing you back in so you can actually chat together too. I'm Kathy Pearce, founder and CEO of Kathy Pearce Coaching. I'm a leadership and a mindset coach, and I work predominantly with professionals and entrepreneurs who are looking for greater meaning and purpose and fulfillment without compromising who they are and what matters most to them. I've had the privilege of being friends with Amy. Oh my gosh. We were figuring it out earlier today. It's about 16 years now, believe it or not. And we first met in 2005 when we were both working at Microsoft. And since that time, Amy has gone on to do tremendous things. She worked at T-Mobile. And then 2 or 3 years ago, she retired to become an author. She took a huge risk and just quit her job to follow the path that she really wanted to follow. She's such an inspiration, and her story is so compelling that I jumped at the chance to moderate and co-host this book launch party for her again. So I'll share a little bit more about Amy in just a couple of minutes, but for now, I'd like to introduce you to my co-host for today, Alvina Khoo. She's the founder and director of Educare for You. Alvina, I'm going to turn it over to you, and you can just unmute yourself and you should be good.
Thank you, Kathy and Amy. When Amy approached me to co-host her book launch, I couldn't be happier. Now I'm so honored to be partnering with her again to co-host her book. I'm in education, looking after foreign students. Whenever we receive foreign students into Singapore, one of the biggest draw to help them assimilate is food. Nothing gathers family, friends more than good food, glorious food. When speaking of food, it's easy to think back of our childhood days. There are many delightful memories from the past, and someone, somewhere, is often connected in the settling of food. Vietnam is an agricultural country with a long history and rich tradition. I'm sure many, when you think of Vietnam, they will talk about pho. It's hard to resist the aromatic snacks of Vietnam, whether it's street food or from a nice cozy Vietnamese restaurant. I'm very sure Amy's food will bring back great memories for the different ages. And wherever you go, Vietnamese food is one that is becoming top of mind for many. And I wish Amy all great success for her book. Over to you, Kathy.
Thanks, Alvina. Now it's with great pleasure that I get to introduce Amy M. Lee. Amy was born in South Vietnam in 1974, just 9 months before the Vietnam War ended. She immigrated to the US in 1980 with her mother and cousin and settled in Seattle, Washington. Amy earned a bachelor's degree in sociology at Western Washington University and served 20 years in the technology and telecommunications sectors. In 2017, Amy's mother, Snow, passed away from lung cancer. Amy quit her job and spent 2 years writing her debut novel, Snow in Vietnam, to honor her mother's memory. Today, Amy lives in Oklahoma with her husband and son. Other than doing writerly things, Amy volunteers at a child advocacy center and serves as president of the Oklahoma City Writers. I thought I'd share just a little bit more in her own words. And this is actually from the introduction of the book, Snow's Kitchen. So Amy writes, in 2017, I embarked on a life-changing journey of self-discovery. After my mama, Snow, passed from cancer, I quit my corporate job and never looked back. To honor the brave and incredible woman who raised me, I wrote my debut historical fiction novel, Snow in Vietnam, to share with the world our family's story of survival after the fall of Saigon. The sequel, Snow in Seattle, was my women's fiction novel of the Vietnamese diaspora and detailed our immigrant story of rebuilding and thriving in a new country while grappling with trauma and PTSD. Snow's Kitchen is the final book in the Snow trilogy and was written in 1 month during NaNoWriMo 2020. It's dedicated to all the drifters and gourmands out there. I wanted to honor my mother's love for food by sharing with you some of her recipes. I also included some of my favorite recipes that I created or enhanced over the years. The first half of the book is a novella written from Dolly's perspective. Follow along as she navigates her way through adolescence, experiencing a spectrum of emotions from love and pain to determination and self-discovery. In the second half, I share with you our family recipes. I welcome you to Snow's Kitchen and hope the foods inspire you, excite you, and introduce you to new flavors. And with that, I welcome Amy.
Yay. Thank you
Yay.
so much, Kathy. Thank you, Alvina. Wow, it's such an honor to be here with you all. And, I wish I could see the whole entire screen so I can see all your faces and see who's here. But thank you so much for being here, for supporting me along this journey. And I hope that we will continue that journey together as we move forward. I would love to talk a little bit about my journey, my history, my adventures, my projects. I'm here to answer any questions. So let's get started. All right. So you're really here for all the prizes, right? You're not here to see me. You don't care about the books. I see some nods. Okay. We've got 22 amazing prizes to give away. And here's how this is going to work. At the end of tonight, what I will do is take a look at all of the registrants and put you in a little hat, and we'll do a drawing. And I'm going to draw them. Well, what we'll do is once I draw your name, you will get to pick what you want to select as your prize. So we'll go in order that way. But some of the prizes that we have tonight that were generously given, donated by friends, partners, authors, etc., are Ready, Set, Sloth, which is a brand new debut novel by Janie Mary. And it comes with a bookmark as well as a gift card to Barnes & Noble. There's a calendar of B.T. Urella. It's a 2021 calendar, and I realize that 2 months is already gone. But, ladies and gentlemen, the pictures are worth it. BT is a combat war veteran. He's a model. He's an author. He's co-founder of Vet Sports. He just moved to New Zealand. He's a speaker. He's just an amazing person. And the photography was done by Shauna Cruz with Cruz Images. We've also got 24 egg rolls that I will be raffling off. The caveat to that is you have to be within 1 hour driving distance from me, so I will personally deliver them to you. 6 copies of my book, so winner gets their choice of which copy they want. And we've got River Bend, donated by Barbara Shepard, who's here tonight. And she also made this fiber art that's framed there. It's a quilt, I think. The main character in River Bend, which is a historical Western fiction, is Belle, and she's just a very gritty, strong woman, but she sells quilts to make a living, and hence the fiber art. We've got Pink Flamingos, which I think is a beautiful book that's written by Dee Dee Rapp, and it's about how to come to terms with the loss of your mother. Getting all emotional just talking about that one. There's also 4 bookmarks that were donated by Tabs, and with Naughty Hawk Beating, she actually handmade all of those, and each person who wins will get to pick one. And then what's a party without some alcohol? Down the bottom, you see that there's actually 8 bottles of your choice. I'll actually go to the grocery store and pick the ones that you like. So admit, I won't get you any scotch. I'll get you bourbon if you win. We've got a dozen cans of Red Bull, your choice of flavor. There's a bazillion different flavors, guys. So it's not just the regular energy drink that's original. It's not just sugar-free. There's like I told you, I'm drinking the watermelon one today. So good. And then I also want to do a shout out to Dennis Giles with Artistic Air, who made all these lovely airbrushed art that you see in the lower left corner there. There's 5 pieces there. And if you go onto my Quill Hawk Publishing page on Facebook, you'll actually see each one of these in full color and each one of those images so you can get a better view. But anyways, those are the prices. Okay, so forgive me if I cry tonight. I can't seem to stop crying. Yesterday was my mom's 4-year death anniversary. That's what I'm calling it. So as you know, I wrote Snow in Vietnam to honor her. And in the very first book, this is just a recap of what is happening here. Basically, Dad meets Mom, has baby Amy, and my Vietnamese name is Thuy Tiên, but throughout the book, I'm called Dolly or some other, Tiên, just a short version of that. But we actually escaped Vietnam with my cousin Tree, who is there. I think he was 16 in that photo. He looks like just a baby. But Snow in Vietnam is really about our boat refugee experience, our escape from Vietnam after the fall of Saigon, and how we ended up in the refugee camps. Go ahead. And that brings us to book 2. Thank you so much for all your support. I thought it was going to be a one and done situation, but you fans said we want a sequel. We want to know what happens next. So Snow in Seattle is all about Snow, Dolly, and Tree coming to Seattle, being sponsored by Mr. and Mrs. Van Zwolle. They were our sponsors. They were named Toots and Bub. And I lost contact with them actually right before I went to college, and I just made connections with their children. So I'm super excited. Though they have both passed, I have learned what their real names are, Henrietta and, oh shoot, I'm just losing his name. But anyway, so in the center there is Toots and Bub. And then my mom and me on the far left, when we first came to Seattle, we are, sorry, I'm just getting a little emotional. So it's really about how to resettle in America and navigate through the matrix of a new culture and a new society and a new country while dealing with traumas of the past. And interwoven into those stories is also a story about a Vietnam veteran who also comes back from Vietnam and the struggles that he faces and how very parallel in some ways Snow and him are. So that is the picture of me on the upper right. If you look really, really closely, if you zoomed in, you could actually see my zipper, my scar that was given to me shortly after arriving in Seattle. I was rushed to Seattle Children's Hospital, which Snow in Seattle, the book, opens up with the scene of us in the hospital. And for years, I never knew who my surgeon was. And Dr. Dale Hall, my surgeon there on the right, I recently found out who he was, and I also found out the wonderful woman behind those illustrations there. The medical illustrator, Susan Russell Hall, was or is Dale's wife, actually. And so she was in the hospital room or in the OR, actually standing over the surgery and drawing my heart. And so, 40 years went by, I had these drawings and no other information, but thank you to Anna Jaworski and thank you to my husband. They tracked Dale down and also Susan down. So I get to talk to them soon, which I'm very excited about. And that brings us to Snow's Kitchen, my trilogy. This was a crazy endeavor because, like I said, it was written in 1 month during NaNoWriMo in November. And the recipes were easy. Like I had those here, and actually the hard part was trying to figure out what measurements to write down for you all, because I just, dump things in and grab whatever's in the cupboard to compromise things. But that's me on the left holding a basket of persimmons. I was trying to be cutesy and pretend that I was my model holding the mangosteens on the cover, but we didn't have any mangosteens, so persimmons was what you got. And then in the center was one of the last pictures of my mom and me together, and it was at a white party that I hosted, and she had come up just to be a part of the party for a little bit before she came back down to rest, because at that point she was, stage 4 lung cancer. And then on the right are just a few pictures from the cookbook. The top is a pâté chaud Some of you may know what that is. It's French, and but it's really, really good. It's got a nice flaky crust, and it's got meat in there that is perfect to warm up for breakfast with your coffee or just on the go. The center there is actually a street food item. It is a seafood congee, which is a porridge, a soup, rice soup. It's got clams and shrimp in there. And then the last part is what's called yaourt, which is yogurt, Vietnamese yogurt. And Preston, my son, the first time he went to Vietnam, he fell in love with yaourt. And so I had to quickly learn how to make that. So, because we couldn't, you know, go back to Vietnam every single time he had a hankering for yaourt. Yep. All right, so we're gonna go into the actual Snow's Kitchen story. It starts out roughly around 1988, and this is Orange County, California. We actually moved to San Jose first, and then we go down to Santa Ana, Westminster, Orange County area. But that there is my dad and my mom, my stepdad, I should say. She remarried, and that's the reason why we moved down to California. And that's where Snow in Seattle ended, was when she was gonna get married to Ben. And that's his C-Tren in the back. He used to take me to school in that pretty cool car. And then that's me on the right with my mom. And I think that was at my stepsister's wedding. And that's why we were a little bit dressed up. And this is the immediate family of mine. So on the left is Tree. He went from 16 years old to a man. Very much into new wave, and the ladies loved him. So that was my Tree. And then on the far right is actually me with my stepbrother, Koi. And if any of you have read the book already, you'll know who Koi is in Snow's Kitchen. Amazing guy, really love him to pieces. And next to him is his then girlfriend, Lynn, who was Cambodian and an aspiring model. And then down below is my stepsister and the man that she married, Ken. And that brings us to my formative years, where friendship and gangs and first love and homelessness and rebellion and just everything under the sun when you think about teenagers, I guess. But I'll start from left to right, top to bottom. That is Van, one of my closest friends. She was the one who introduced me to Ace, who was my very first boyfriend. And we had a really, really strong bond there. The one in the middle is Amy Chen. And I will tell you, when I became a citizen, I named myself after Amy Chen. That's why I'm Amy now. But and you'll understand why when you read the book. I'm not giving you all the secrets. And then on the far right is just us in front of Bolsa Avenue. If you've been to Orange County, there is Little Saigon. It's a huge Vietnamese community. We were rolling up and down Bolsa Avenue and going into the malls and just having a good time, doing what teenagers do, eat and get in trouble. And then down below, the haircut that made me cry, that Koi tried to spoil me with a spa day, but I looked like a boy there. I wanted it to look like Princess Diana, but no, that's not what happened. But to make up for it, he bought me a dog. And my very first puppy was a little Chihuahua named Nikki. And then the next one is just a picture of my college friends who actually, I think that was my first year in college at Western Washington University. We did with the VSA, the Vietnamese Student Association, we did a fashion show for New Year's for Thet. Next picture was me with Ace, my very first boyfriend. And then the last picture is just me at another Lunar New Year event with a college friend. So also in Snow's Kitchen, there's a lot of drama and a lot of turmoil that happens in there. But one of the best things that happened that I share about is that Mom and I, we break free from whatever is holding us back, and we achieve our goals. So there's me graduating from high school in Hoquiam, Washington, which is a tiny, tiny little town in Washington State, near the coast, near the West Coast. And I am one of 2 Asian people in all of the school. The other one is a kind of like a cousin. So he doesn't really count. It's just the two of us. And then on the far right there, of course, is my mom. She graduated at the age of 55 with her OMD in acupuncture. So yay, mom. She just kept going and going and going. Very proud of her. And that kind of brings us to today, to the present. You know, we started out with Mom with Snow and Dolly in Seattle there, sitting in the fields with Mount Rainier in the background. And then you fast forward to now, present day, and there's me reconnecting with my dad for the very first time in January of 2018, after being angry with him and separated from him for so long. There's Tree and me at my last visit to Seattle, and he was in the middle of remodeling his house, and he loved that mask of mine that I had to order him a second one. So I think we're the only two that have that mask, hopefully. Down below is my mom and I's first trip, our first trip to Seattle after nearly 30 years from escaping the country. And that was an amazing experience. I think I told Dr. Chad about that. But we spent a month there, and I took pictures of everything, and you know, I just couldn't wait to come back. And it's amazing how immersed you get in a country and in a culture if you spend, you know, a week there. But we spent a month there, and by then I was like dreaming in Vietnamese and thinking in Vietnamese, and I thought, wow, I could really live here. There's my son. He used to be really into MMA, and now he doesn't, which makes me sad, but he would compete in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai tournaments, and 8 out of 10 times would come home with a medal or two. So that was one of his no-gi BJJ proud moments there. That's the next one is husband and me, Joe, when we first met and started dating, and that was in 2000 and gosh, 5. Was it 2005? No, maybe, yeah. Okay, and then I'm so super excited. That is Dr. Dale Hall and his lovely wife, Susan Hall. And I don't know if they're here tonight because I can't see all the folks, but I get the pleasure of being on a podcast soon with Anna Jaworski, and it's called Heart to Heart with Anna, and she's going to reunite me with them. So I can't wait. Thank you. I think this is our last slide. So just a few shout outs. I couldn't be here today if it wasn't for the people who helped me to get my visibility and my name and just my books out there. So Vietnamese Boat People podcast, Tracy, I know tonight you're with Phuc Tran doing a live podcast interview for the author of Saigon. So, but she was the one that really helped me to get out there and helped me to meet some people. I was recently on K-Talk 100 or 1000 with Lee Tran, who I think I saw is here. She is the amazing author of I Did Not Miss the Boat. We're shipmate sisters in the sense that we have very similar backgrounds, even though we weren't actually on the same ship. And then Banh Mi Chronicles, which I'm super excited because if you saw me on Facebook today, Randy Kim, who's the host of Banh Mi Chronicles, posted a lovely video of his thoughts on life in general. But halfway through, he talks about me and Snow in Vietnam. And his episode with me as the guest is airing this Sunday. So check out Banh Mi Chronicles. It's all about breaking bread and breaking barriers and talking to other Asian American creatives and influencers. And then I'm super excited about the Heart Co-op bookstore. Anna Jaworski and Jenny Muscatel, the three of us decided to do this crazy thing where in 2.5 weeks we launched this website, and it is a resource for the congenital heart defect community. It's to bring awareness, and we are hoping to invite more members to this so that we can showcase your work and you can showcase our work, and together we can be one of the one-stop shops, I guess, resources for the CHD community. And there's Anna, Heart to Heart with Anna. She interviewed me after listening to Snow in Vietnam's podcasts on the Vietnamese Boat People. And we really talked about the CHD, which I totally didn't even really think about until this year. And her mission was to find my doctor, because when I told her that, 4 years, I haven't been able to find him, and by golly, she found him. A thriving conversation. I love this so much. So Lee and Sarah, they do this 3 times a week, y'all, on Facebook Live, where they bring in these amazing powerhouses, and they talk to them for 30 minutes. And it's on Facebook Live. So I encourage you to go on to Facebook and find From Surviving to Thriving. It's all about from surviving to thriving. And then Story Rocket, which I think I saw Anna Benitez on. I'm so excited. So last week, I was privileged to be a guest on Story Rocket Live and got to share my tips for hosting a virtual book launch party successfully. And it's just been an amazing journey. If you guys don't know about Story Rocket, you need to find out. It is a platform that will bring authors to producers. It's a chance to tell your story and hopefully get it on the screen. So Story Rocket is a great connection point or a bridge. And with that, I'm done talking about the slide, but I know I want to make sure we have time for Q&A. I also want to make sure that I shout out to a few people that I see. For example, I know that Dr. Hoyson, I see his face. Dr. Chad, do you want to give a quick little blurb about Healing Hearts Vietnam?
Yes, thank you. I'll be very brief because tonight's about you. And this is such an interesting event. I've never done one of these before, but thank you so much for inviting me. We're a nonprofit organization, and we exist to help finance surgery, open heart surgery for children in Vietnam who are poor and needy. We've supported about 500 children so far. And your story, Amy, is very inspirational because it's a perfect representation of what we do. You're someone that had congenital heart disease, had surgery at a young age, and then went on to do wonderful things in your community and in society. And we feel like we're doing that in Vietnam. I would encourage everybody to go on our website, healingheartsvietnam.com. We travel over there. We donate medical equipment. We work with the Vietnamese National Heart Institute. We support the local surgeons there to do the surgery. So typically the patient will have a portion they have to pay for surgery. They'll have social insurance, and there'll be other donors. So we pay the patient's portion. So for even $500, that finances an open heart procedure for these children. So 100% of the money that we raise goes directly to pay for these surgeries. We are having a charity golf tournament on March the 20th in Williamsburg, Virginia. And it's actually sponsored by William and Mary, which is where my oldest son is a senior in college. He's got a chapter of Healing Hearts Vietnam. And so if you like playing golf and you want to travel to Williamsburg, Virginia, please do. If you want to learn more about it, you can go on our website. But it's been an incredible journey. It's my life's passion. And, I'm a cardiologist, and I've been in practice for 22 years, and I'm the chair of our large department. And this is just something that brings me great joy. And it was so great to connect with Amy and just hear about her story. And her story just rings so true. And it's been an absolute awesome privilege to be part of the organization. My friend and I founded it, Tom Forsberg Jr., who's an emergency room physician. He and I both have been going there for many years. And his dad, Tom Sr., works in operations and is on this meeting tonight. So Amy, thank you so much. Congratulations for everything. And can't wait to dig into your books. So we appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chad. Does anybody want to say a quick anything about, actually, you know what? I see Matt, and I'm going to put you on the spot, Matt. And then we can move on. But Matt Core, I'm so excited, you guys. This young gentleman is debuting his very first novel soon this year. And he just signed with Quillhawk Publishing, my publishing company. And together we are going to let this book baby fly. And I was hoping, Matt, you can tell us a little bit about the title and what it's about.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much. But first, I do want to say that congratulations, Amy. Obviously, this is amazing. Your story is fantastic. It's inspirational. And even though we've only been friends for about, I don't know, 4 or 5 months now, I really appreciate you and all you've done for me. And she's sort of taking me under her wing and sort of guiding me through this process for my first book. And I really appreciate everything you've done so far, continue to do. And again, congratulations. But my book is called Land on Me. Sorry, internet. Okay. It's called Land on Me. It is a coming of age gay novel in the new adult genre. So I will just read the synopsis really quickly that Amy and I worked on together. It says, Landon Griffin has everything going for him. He's a high school senior on the brink of receiving a football scholarship. His dad is running for mayor of Madison, Texas, and his future with his girlfriend looks bright. But his simple life shatters when feelings spark for a guy he's never met. Giving the stranger the codename Mystery Boy, Landon hesitates to step out of his comfort zone to solve the mystery. Living in a conservative town, he struggles to hide his new obsession while trying to figure out where he fits within the spectrum of sexuality. Can he dodge the constant questions from his friends and find answers before the escalating anxiety becomes too much to handle? Land on Me is Matthew R. Corr's debut novel, akin to the drama of Christopher Rice and the coming-of-age brilliance of Alex Sanchez. So, yeah, be on the lookout for that, guys. Amy and I will be working very hard to get it out at some time during summer this year. If you want to follow me on social media, you can find me at Matthew R. Corr, C-O-R-R, on pretty much all social platforms. And thank you again, Amy, for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Matt. Should we go into the Q&A? And if we have some time left at the end, I would love for Haichu to speak to us a little bit about her project. So I'm giving you plenty of warning.
Do you want to just unmute everyone so we can ask questions organically?
Sure, let's see.
I'll start with the first one, Amy.
Okay, wait. Did that work?
No.
Okay. Well,
that's okay. People can unmute.
You can unmute yourself.
We're unmuted.
So told you technology is not my strong point.
Well, DJ's question is, Amy, why did your family need a sponsor?
Why did our family need a sponsor? Good question. Well, you know, when we were living in the refugee camps, there were so many of us that were threatened to either get threatened with repatriation, being sent back to the very country that we were just escaping from. And in order to be able to live in a new country, you have to have someone that's willing to take charge and be responsible for you. And they also have to have enough money to be able to make sure that you get the resources you need to be independent and not live off of the country, right? The government. And so we were very fortunate that a Presbyterian church in Kent, Washington came together to sponsor our family of 3 and brought us over. And they were more than generous. We got clothes, we got food, we got furniture. We had, you know, hands-on education and training, and they spent more than the 3 months or whatever it was that was required of them. We formed long, loving, familial relationships with these people. Okay.
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
What is your favorite thing to cook? From a genre standpoint, are we talking like French desserts? Are we talking about Vietnamese street food? Something I haven't experienced yet? And follow-up question, when are you coming over to make it? So answer wisely.
Well, I've already made it for you guys.
Oh.
I love making egg rolls, and here's the reason why. I have never met an egg roll at a restaurant that I liked. And so I had to make my own. And through trial and error, I was like, Eureka, I did it. I found it. And that's one of my obsessions, right? Is if I go to a restaurant, I expect good food. If I'm disappointed, I will meticulously pour over how to make this thing. But anyways, it's also very therapeutic because I can sit there in front of a TV and just roll to my heart's content.
Excellent.
And before you know it, I have 100 egg rolls. And I love having Preston there to be a part of it with me because he'll peel the wrappers for me. So it's a bonding thing. That's a great question. Thank you.
We're
Yes.
out of egg rolls, by the way.
Yes, but we have a big
I'm
TV.
coming March 15th.
We have a big TV and I'll pour scotch.
And then we'll watch you roll the egg rolls.
You peel,
I
I'll
have
roll.
a question from Hoyt,
Yes.
who says, have you encountered any resistance from the Vietnamese government when traveling there?
Yes. It's a bribery system, right? And so I remember, and my in-laws are here. They'll attest to this. My mother-in-law. The last trip that we went to, I took my mother-in-law, my honorary dad, my husband, my son, and when we went through customs, of course, you know, they went all by easily, flying breeze. And of course, when it came to me, they delayed, detained, tried to get me to speak Vietnamese to them. And I just kept pretending that I didn't understand the language because I knew exactly what they wanted. They wanted me to slip in a $10 bill with my passport or whatever it was. And so I felt really bad, you know, that my family was waiting for me on the other side. And I was a little nervous, but in the end, I did exactly what Tree told me to do, was just play dumb, play American. Not that Americans are dumb. That sounded so bad. But just pretend, sorry, just pretend you didn't know the language, you know? And so that was the one thing.
Amy, I'm sorry to interrupt. Does everyone here understand that in order to leave the country, you also have to go through customs and your departure can be prevented, which is why you had to escape by the dark of the night?
Yeah. And that's my mother-in-law, Tamara, that just spoke. You know, in terms of resistance in the country, we didn't get that once we were in country, but we did get a lot of stares. Partly, I think it's because my son is half Vietnamese and half Caucasian, Swedish background, and a few other things. But he's just a beautiful boy, and you know, because he's mixed, he's a curiosity. And I found that Vietnamese people, they don't hold back. They are very straightforward with their thoughts, but they're also very touchy-feely. And that was very scary the first time I went. And but other than that, it's always been a very positive experience in Vietnam. So if you get to go, please go. It's a beautiful country.
And Thomas Nichols wants to know, how many books have you published?
I've published 3 in 4 years. I'm taking a break this year from writing because NaNoWriMo nearly killed me. And now I really want to focus on promoting the books, but mostly just reaching out to other people that that I think I could be of service or of value to. So it's, as a matter of fact, if Joe is on here, he'll tell you that I just connected with him through Alvina, thank you, he lives in Orange County, and he is starting to build this Vietnamese Heritage Museum. And he and I connected, and we are excited to partner together to bring this museum to life. So we're looking for artifacts, you know, anything that has to do with the Vietnamese history of the boat people, what have you, the war. We're looking for artifacts, stories, books, what have you, and we'd love to launch this museum together.
And Vu Do says, so the want to tell your family's story, the Snow Trilogy, and your desire to become a writer, which one came first?
Oh, it was definitely the family, the desire to tell my family's story. That's what propelled me to writing the first book. And I took 2 years off, you know, to, like I said, to mourn my mother's death, to answer some questions that I didn't have. And in that journey, I traveled and I interviewed, and I actually finished the manuscript at my in-laws' house in the freak of nature night. And then, you know, I actually received a publishing contract for Snow in Vietnam, which was very exciting. But in the end, I decided to indie publish. I turned down the contract because I really, really wanted to do it my way because it was so dear to me. And honestly, I didn't think it was going to really sell. I didn't think that I was going to do anything more with it. But those of you who read it loved it and said, we want more. So I wrote Snow in Seattle, and then we want more. So Snow's Kitchen. But I have no more to give you at this point. I think Alvina had a question, and she's been patiently raising her hand.
Yes, I want to follow up on just now. Amy mentioned that they're looking for a sponsor, and I can resonate with that because in the 1980s, I was a volunteer at the United Nations High Commission for Refugees in Singapore. And I brought my cassette, my books, and I was attached to the children home. And all the children, either the parents are still in Vietnam or in jail, or they are orphans and they miss home, they're so young. So I was there as a pillar of support for them, and I will help them to organize farewell party. I teach them basic English. And when I walk into the camp, I also make a signboard for them. And I walk into the camp, I can see a lot of paintings drawn by the Vietnamese or the vessel that rescued them. And I will stand there and admire the painting. And I came to realize that the Vietnamese are so talented. And interestingly, they spoke Teochew, which is a Chinese dialect. So I was able to communicate with some of the adults. Sometimes they will come over. And the children really miss home. They are going into depression. They are lost, they are frightened, and they will come to me and talk a lot of things. I will be listening, and then I'll bring them out and I help them to write letters for the resettlement. So most of the students that I help resettle in Norway, New Zealand, Canada, and US. So that's why I reached out to Amy. And when one of the person connected me about the Heritage Museum, I said, you must talk to Amy because we have something that we share, we love, we care about the kids. And now the kids are big, you know, and we are very happy that there is a beautiful rainbow at the end of it. I just want to share this with you.
Thank you, Alvina. Yeah, Alvina was at the Hawkins camp in Singapore, which my family we stayed there for 2 weeks before we were flying on a 747 to Seattle. And that was like being on vacation after the journey that we had been through, because the Hawkins camp spoiled us with lots of good food and service right to our doorstep.
So we have another question from Anna Jaworski. She says, I think it's really unique to make a novella and a cookbook. Why did you choose to create your book that way?
Well, part of the reason was NaNoWriMo, right? You have 1 month to write 50,000 words. And I was thinking, gosh, you know, I just can't, I don't have it in me to write a whole 100,000 words. So the cookbook idea was also a great filler, if you want to call it that. But it was, you know, throughout the 3 books, like we talk about food a lot. And knowing that my mom loves food and I do too, and that's what bonded us together was in the kitchen, it just made natural sense to include some of our recipes. And it was also a nice way to get my family involved because Joe did the photography for me. He's not the professional photographer, but he's my photographer. And Preston was the taste tester. So he was brutally honest, guys.
It's a family event.
It was a family affair.
And Tom Forsberg says, are the ingredients for the recipes in your book readily available in the US?
If you're close to an Asian store, possibly. You'd be surprised at how much you can get actually from Amazon. So there's that. But there's always substitutes. So if there's an ingredient that you can't find, you know, reach out to me. Maybe I can offer a suggestion. Although I still don't know how to make things keto, Anna, if you're listening. We'll figure it out together.
Oh. So you've got a lot of people here chiming in. They love it. They love the Vietnamese culture. They want to visit Orange County one day. We love it. You're amazing. Best of luck.
Type something.
And then DJ says, Pat Conroy also produced a novella and a cookbook.
Oh, what's it called?
What's it called, DJ?
So, you know, before I wrote and published Snow's Kitchen, I was reading, was it Fried Green Tomatoes, that book, and some of the other books that actually had recipes in the back. And I was sorely disappointed. They were like quick little, you know, 5-liners with, you know, 3 ingredients or something, you know, very simple, which is great, but there were no pictures. And so I wanted to do something a little bit different with mine. And I will tell you, Snow's Kitchen almost did not get published because I indie published, it's actually very expensive to do this on your own. And when you print a book that is in full color, the price just goes up dramatically. But I can't publish a cookbook in black and white, right? It's just not the same. So I almost threw my hands up and said, I'm not going to charge my friends and family and my fans, you know, $50 for this novella and cookbook. And so, but where there's a will, there's a way, and I was able to publish it. So while it is a little bit more expensive than the other two, it's not that much more expensive, and I hope you do enjoy it.
So Pat's is called the Pat Conroy Cookbook.
Okay.
And each chapter has a story and recipes.
Oh, kind of like, is it Scarpetta's? What's her name? Patricia Cornwell, the author, the mystery. What's that, Dee?
I said Patricia Cornwell
Yes.
is the one that's that person. Yeah.
Scarpetta. Yes, yes. I think that's fantastic. And I looked at her book too, which I think is great.
Hi, I just want to say a couple of things before I get off. I got another call in 2 minutes, and I want to say congratulations, Amy. This is wonderful, and you are amazing. You are an amazing author and an amazing woman, and I'm so glad I get to meet you. I just want to talk real quick to Alvina too. I am a Chinese also, Teochew. So that's how I met Amy, because we were in the same Facebook group, both people. And we are like 12 years apart. So we are both tigers in a sense. But I want to congratulate you for everything you do. And Hawken, yes, I was there for 12 days, lots of memories, and just went back there right before Corona happened. So it was really like 40 years of PTSD, and finally, you know, be able to heal. You do a wonderful job, and I wish you the best of luck before I get off. And bye, everyone.
Bye, Lee. Thank you so much for coming. Lee, you guys, Lee is an amazing person. She's a boat refugee like me, and she wrote a memoir, which please read it, because I read that, I don't know, like 2-3 days. I just couldn't put it down. It was so good. But she and I had the honor of being on 2 different episodes together. And she also she did a TED talk that was pretty inspirational. So if you get a chance, check out Lee Tran. Thank you, honey.
Didn't miss the boat, so you didn't miss the boat either.
We didn't miss the boat.
Have a great one, everyone. Good night.
Good night, Lee.
So Diana LeBeau says, Amy, I love your writing and your story, and I don't want this to be the last we hear about you and your life. Your audience is going to need regular updates, so please plan on a lifelong series of installments.
Oh, gosh. Okay, Diana, that means you're going to have to be my beta reader, critique team, launch team. Like, you got to be all in it with me. Okay. She gave the thumbs up.
You're such an inspiration to so many refugees that come to the U.S. with little more than faith and a dream. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry, I didn't catch who said that.
That was Anna Benitez.
Oh,
Benitez?
Anna. Yes, Anna is the co-founder of Story Rocket, and which I mentioned earlier. So please check out Story Rocket.
Where's
Anna? She's not on the screen, and she's muted, but oh, wait, maybe there she is.
Yeah.
Anna, say something about Story Rocket.
Oh my God, you're putting me on the spot. I put you on the spot last week, so it's all fair. I'm so excited to be here. You know, when I met Amy, I think a lot of people have the same experiences. She's so infectious, right? She's positive and she doesn't say no. She tackles problems with her head on first and also her heart. So I met Amy at a one-on-one consultation when she came on board at Story Rock, and I was so impressed with her story and her writing ability. She's a brilliant writer. So I know everyone here that has her book is going to enjoy it so much. She has a story that resonates with a lot of refugees. I myself came from Cuba when I was only 2 years old, with my parents fleeing communist Cuba. So her story is really dear to not only the Asian side, but also a lot of Latin Americans and people who come here trying to make their dream happen and also contribute to this society. So I congratulate Amy. I did not come here to talk about Story Rocket, but I'll say a couple of things. So Story Rocket has a really amazing mission. It's there to help authors and writers get their books and their stories in front of producers, agents, and publishers. We do this through a database that we build with their pitch on it. And Amy's brilliant, and I can only, Amy, I think you think this is only your first 3 books and that's it. You have a lot of story to tell because you have the sensitivity of really coming into a scene and understanding it from your point of view that probably nobody else can. So Amy, there's a lot more of you to come, and I can't wait to see it. And thank you for having me here.
Thank you so much, Anna. Thank you.
Carolyn Leonard says, the things you've accomplished in this 4 years in publishing, just amazing. I enjoyed learning your story and excited that you are giving away prizes. I have your book on Kindle, but haven't read them yet. I have a Chinese Vietnamese friend with a similar story, which I've written for her. Plan to give her one of your print books. Congratulations.
Thank you. And Oklahomans, if you're here, all 3 books are at the Metropolitan Library. They bought 6 copies of each book. So read them, check them out. If you have a book club or what have you. As a matter of fact, I'm going down to Texas in May to be a part of a book club. And I've been asked to cook something for the group. So that will be fun. But yes, go to the library and check out the books. And then if you love it, buy the book. And I'm happy to either sign it or send out book plates that are signed.
Oh, that's awesome. Congratulations, Amy, for bridging this beautiful memories for those volunteers, sponsors, our dear Vietnamese friends, and most importantly, the book that resonates with the many hands that make the load lighter. Thank you, Alvina, for those amazing sentiments.
Thank you so much. I was on so earlier, I think it was today, Lee Tran and Sarah M., they actually did their From Surviving to Thriving podcast, and they had a gal on their episode today that talked about teaching refugee kids how to do filming. It's a film school, basically, and it teaches them the ins and outs of filming so that they will be able to earn a living and sustain their life once they get sponsored or once they find their resettlement home. So it's something that I've been very interested in, and I hope to add one more thing to my plate and partner with them to be a mentor or to be, just anything for these refugee kids. And they're teenagers. They're, I think, between 13 and 19 years old, but they're looking for some assistance. And if you all know me, most of you know me, I can't say no. I love to put my finger in everything. So if there's a cause, if there's something that I can help with, please do reach out to me. I would love to be a part of it or at least learn more about it. And if Haichu is still here, which yes, you are, I'm gonna put you on the spot, honey, because I think what you're doing is super, super important. And I was so proud to be a part of it. Haichu, can you unmute and talk about thumb?
Hi, everybody. Yeah, Amy has just been, I've just met her like 3 months, but she said yes right away. She's one of those people that says yes without like really knowing the whole project. She's a judge for my essay contest, but more than that, she's just been so supportive. On a project that I'm working on is to bring mental health awareness to the Vietnamese American community in the United States. Just start talking about mental health, the struggles we go through. I'm just so blessed to have met Amy. She's more like a sister now more than a friend, just because we have similar backgrounds. But I really do believe that Amy will say yes to almost any project. So if you need help, she's your go-to. And if you only met her like 5 minutes, I think you feel her energy. I feel it, and I've never met this woman in person. So you're just one incredible gal. I am so lucky. With COVID, I've met some incredible movers and shakers, and you're definitely on the top of that list, Amy.
Oh, thank you, Haju. Yeah, your Talk and Mend project is amazing. Haju recently did a contest for Vietnamese Americans, and we invited them to submit their essays about why they hide certain feelings. And we read over 140 essays, very powerful essays. And March 1st is when we get to announce the winners. The top 3, they get some scholarship money. I think it's $1,500 and $200. And the final 2 people who get to judge and select the top winners are actually Nguyen Phang Nguyen Mai. She is the author of The Mountains Sing. If you haven't read that book, please get that book. It is amazing. My #1 pick for 2020. And then Lee Tran, Phuc Tran is the other author that's doing the finalist selection, and he's actually being interviewed by Vietnamese Boat People podcast right now. But he's the author of Saigon. So thank you, Haiku.
Alvina also says to make sure and let her know if you need any aspects of nurturing and educating kids. She's more than happy to assist.
Absolutely.
And Thomas Nichols says, I will suggest my local library to stock your books if they've not already done so.
Yay! Yes, my ISBN numbers are officially with Bowker, so they can find my books. Yes, thank you, Matt.
So, Amy, you have a super full, rich life going on. What's next for you?
Oh gosh. Well, I definitely want to get more and more involved with 3 aspects. One is the refugee side of things. I joined a bunch of refugee groups on Facebook, and would really love the opportunity to help other refugees to give back. And that's why I'm starting to look at, like, for example, that refugee filming school that is out there. But then I also want to learn more about my congenital heart defect. I had an atrial septal defect, which maybe Dr. Tom or Dr. Chad can tell me a little bit more about that, because when we went into surgery in 1980, that surgery took over 6 hours. And from what I understand, that's an easy thing now. Is that right?
Yeah, that's a 20 or 30-minute procedure right now, with a catheter through the groin. Yeah,
that's incredible.
Hey now.
Sorry to tell you that.
Yeah. I'm half drunk here, doctor. What are you doing?
I'm glad though that I had it then in 1980 and not now. But yeah, 6 years. 6 hours of hell for my mom, waiting and waiting and waiting and not knowing. And then, Anna Dworsky is a heart mom, and there's a few heart moms here tonight. They've had their children go through surgeries, multiple surgeries. So I can't even imagine having to continually go back to the hospital and have surgery after surgery for their heart defect. Okay, so the other thing I want to do is around mental health awareness. I didn't really think that was something that I would ever get involved with. But I realized as I was learning more about my heritage and my history that so many of us hide our true feelings. And we are so repressed, and our parents are so strict. I mean, even in Snow's Kitchen, I write about this. I write about being stuck between two different cultures, and my parents being so demanding and not letting me spread my wings. And then you have the teenagers and your friends who influence you, and the American society, the culture that influence you, and you just want to be one of them. You want to have your sleepovers, and you want to go out to the mall and just hang out with your friends, and do listen to music that has bad swear words in it. But you can't do those things, and there's always that expectation that you got to grow up and be something. You got to be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, a musician, playing piano, whatever. And I think a lot of our 1.5, 2.0, 3.0 generation kids who came from refugee families are struggling with that. And so it's and after reading all those essays, oh my God, I cried rivers and rivers. So yeah, my heart's in it now.
There's a gentleman that I know really well that I is a colleague of mine. He's actually a coach. He works specifically, well, he has a podcast called Silent Superheroes, and it's all about mental health and in the workplace. Like, we all bring our cultures and our upbringing and our perspective with us into our workplace. And it's not an area that's really addressed in the workplace whatsoever. So as you dive more into the mental health awareness space, I'd love to connect you with James and see if there's something that would be appropriate for his Silent Superheroes podcast too.
That would be great. And I would probably pull in Haiju and some of the other folks, and because like me, they probably can't say no either. We'd love to spread the love and the knowledge and the awareness together.
Amy, and I just want to say, when you talked about that film group with the teenagers, it really grabbed my heart. As a two-time Emmy Award-winning producer and having been in the business for 20 years, at this point in my life, it's really about helping people. And that's really the mission, and really getting the voices and the stories that are not heard as much into the forefront, because I think diversity is really the spice of life. And there's so many great stories to be told that are not told because they aren't the mainstream story. So I'm here to help break that. And I love to maybe, offline, obviously, Amy, get together and talk about how we can help these teenagers. It's such a difficult time, but I think through filmmaking, they would really open up and really could express themselves in order to even help out with that mental illness that you were saying, mental health.
Thank you, Anna. I think that's wonderful. Yes.
So another thing I'm curious about, you're not just an author. You actually started your own indie publishing company.
Oh, yes.
Talk to us about how and why that came about.
Okay, so it's called Quill Hawk Publishing, and Quill, obviously, because the nod to the writing is the quill, and I also have a tattoo. I have 10 tattoos, the last one being a quill on my forearm. Hawk is a nod to my love for the Seattle Seahawks. If you know me, you know I love football and Seattle Seahawks. So there's the Quill Hawk and publishing. So I created that after I published Snow in Vietnam, because y'all wanted a second and third book. But y'all wanted a second book. And I went through the whole process. I pitched to editors and agents, and I got so many nods. And then you go through the whole, okay, here's my manuscript. And I get rejection after rejection that says, your voice is not diverse enough. We want more female. It's just, I didn't understand really why they were telling me the things that they were telling me, because in my mind, I'm giving them what they want, but I guess that's not the case, and that's okay. But I did get the publishing contract that I sought after. And after reviewing the contract, after going to a conference, after talking to so many indie authors, I really felt that Snow in Vietnam needed to be self-published. And when I decided to do Snow in Seattle, I really wanted to ask myself, do I want to go through that process again And if I get an agent or a publisher, will they pick up Snow in Vietnam? You know, I wanted them to stay together. And it just, I wanted to learn more about this journey of writing and publishing. And so hence I created Quillhawk Publishing just to see where it would go. But it was, the intention was to only publish my books, no one else's. After Snow's Kitchen came out at the end of December of 2020, I felt like, you know what, if I can help another author, I will. And I never advertised it. You know, so many of you actually sent people my way, and I had so many one-on-ones and Zoom calls just sharing my experiences. And when Matt and I talked, it just seemed natural, I think, that the two of us would partner together for his book. And I'm so excited that he picked me. And not to say that you're my test test run, because I've got 3 under my belt, but I think we're going to do amazing things with your book, and I'm so excited. And I love the fact that it's a LGBTQ piece, because I'm all about diversity. And if you know me, you know that when I worked at T-Mobile, I was with the Pride and Allies Network. I was on the Diversity Council as one of the leaders there, and helped do pride parades and all this other stuff. So I'm all for that community as well.
Wow. What don't you do?
I don't vacuum. That's all Joe.
They have Roombas for that now.
I know, but you know, we have a sunken living room. I don't know. Does that work? We might have 2.
You can get it to work.
You can get 2.
Yeah. You can get it to work.
Yes.
So we've got a few minutes left. If anyone has any other questions, or we can just open it up for some casual conversation.
I was hoping, let's see, Anna, you're still here, and Stacy is here. Stacy Mounty is my editor. She edited both Snow in Seattle and Snow's Kitchen, and she and I are also on a couple of different writing groups, organizations. And so maybe Stacy, you can tell us a little bit about Prestige Prose and about you and your books.
Okay, well, thank you, Amy. I am a freelance editor and writer and indie author, and I work with nonfiction and fiction manuscripts of all lengths. I do grant writing and website content and all kinds of stuff. I have my own book series of devotionals. I have 4 that I published, and 3 of those are in a collection. And it's based on my blog, Echoes of Joy. And I write a lot about my little dog, Yorkie, named Lily, and the lessons that I learned from her, and connect them to spiritual truths that I've found in my faith and my walk with God. And so that's a little bit about me and my business. And I just want to say, working with Amy has been such a joy. And she talked about the pressure of NaNoWriMo and writing that book in a month. And I have to say that when I got that manuscript, for it to have been a rough draft, it was in such good shape. So I've just been very impressed with her and her work ethic, and she has just been a delight to work with.
Oh, thanks, Stacy. I'll pay you later. You know, as you get to know me, you'll know that I love supporting people. I love helping people because I was there. I couldn't be where I am today if I didn't have all the love and support and help. So without crying, what little time we do have left, if you don't have any questions for me or anything else, I would love to open this up to those of you who want to share about your business, your passions. I see Sean's on there. I know you've got a podcast that maybe you can tell us a little bit about, and some of the other folks that are on here tonight. Sean, why don't you kick us off?
Well, Amy, I just want to say I really appreciate having the opportunity to join you, and while not just actually having met you just this past week, and kind of learning about your books tonight. I'm really interested in reading them and kind of getting into your story. But just a little about me. Currently, I actually work for a university in the St. Louis area, and I recruit international students, and a large number of them are from Vietnam. Haven't been to Vietnam yet, but I'm hoping to go there if this pandemic will ever end. But yeah, but from traveling and meeting a lot of people from overseas, it really inspired me to kind of create my own podcast. It's called International Immersion. And the goal of my podcast is to connect people from around the world to discuss pretty much anything, just to kind of bring greater awareness and understanding of different people, culture, places, etc. And as of now, I've been doing this for about a year. I just finished my 45th episode. And a lot of my content deals with China because I lived in China for 4 years, and I did my master's there as well, and speak basic Chinese by this point, you could say. But my big thing now is, now that I've kind of got it started, I'm looking to expand and talk with more people, and potentially do a YouTube channel and other things as well. But travel has been a huge passion, and just meeting people like you and others who have these amazing stories, it just really pushes me to do more and to learn more about just, you know, we as people, our experiences, what we do, and how we can help each other, you know, to help and better make an environment where we can understand each other more than fear each other, which I think is a big problem in the current geopolitical environment.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sean, for sharing that. I just saw Dr. Chad's note. Yay! If you can get into William and Mary Law School, that would be awesome. Anita, I see your hand. Yes.
Yes. Amy, I just think it's really heartwarming that you found the doctor and the surgeon that worked on your heart, because everything that you have put into your books and everything that you do, and I know that everybody on this Zoom call can attest to this, you are all heart. So I just found that just incredibly, I'll say it again, heartwarming.
Oh,
and Amita and I are so proud of you. And we can't wait to see you in March.
Yay.
And feel free to bring us or make us egg rolls again.
Okay. We'll do
The bar is always open.
Love you.
The bar is always open. Anita, you guys, is one of my Mahjong sisters. So when I lived in Seattle, we got together every month on the third Sunday of every month. It used to be a Saturday, then we moved it to Sunday. But we have been together religiously for 20 plus years. We were supposed to last year do a 20-year girls trip, and there's 6 of us. So we are 2 of the 6. But yeah, Anita and I have been together for a long time.
Gave me my Mahjong set.
I did.
Which the girls are complaining has tape and glue all over it. So
time for a new set.
Yes, I am definitely due for a new Mahjong set.
Yeah, we weren't sure we were going to let you into the club because, you know, you're not Vietnamese, but
I'm tall and I'm tall and I can reach the wine glasses on the top shelf.
That's the only reason why we let you in, because we're all
I know the reason now, because yes, every time we vacationed, I need to reach the wine glasses on the top shelf for you gals. So yes, glad to be the wine reacher.
Now you know.
Love you, Amy.
Love you too, Anita. Yes, Amit.
I'm just here to open jars and get stuff off the top shelf. So, you know, that rolls downhill. You know how it is. But I'm so proud of you, Amy. You know I love you.
Thank you so much, my friend.
I can't imagine what you've experienced and what you put on paper and what I've read and what you've written. And there's so much more. And that's the thing. There's so much more. And I know that is. So at the risk of getting teary-eyed, I'm going to leave it at that. But you know that I absolutely adore you and I admire the hell out of you. And we love you with all our heart.
Thank you. There's actually 2 books that I want to write. One is my dad's story. He's got an incredible story. He lived through the French occupation and the Great Hunger and the Vietnam War, of course. And I need to write his story. It's amazing. He actually witnessed his mother getting raped when he was 10 years old by a Frenchman. He ended up leaving his house to live on the streets because it meant one less mouth to feed for his family. He studied under the street lamps. He got himself to school and ended up winning a scholarship to study in the States. I mean, he's just an incredible person. And then the other story that I wanted to write is actually about my life post-college, but that one will definitely be fictionalized. Like really.
Names will get changed to protect the innocent and the guilty.
And the not so innocent. It's like sleeping with the enemy kind of story. I'll just leave it at that. It was I was in a very abusive relationship, marriage, and that story I think needs to be written. But we'll see.
You have pipeline.
So we do have more books to look forward to. Maybe not immediately, but in the future.
Yes. My writing is not done. I quit my job for a reason. I gave up that cush salary and benefits. But yeah, I'm not going back. Thank you, Diana. Anybody else want to share their stories? Matt?
I was just going to say, does Preston want to be in a book?
As long as you don't put clothes on him, he will be in the book. And I say this, you laugh, because if you're friends with me on Facebook, every single post of Preston is him in his underwear from the day he was born to now. He's 11, turning on 12 soon. It doesn't matter if it's negative 12 degrees outside. He will go in his underwear and check the mail and help me with the groceries. That's the kind of kid he is. But yes.
Kid comes to our house and in like 2 minutes he's in his underpants.
He's stripped down in the entryway. We're like, Amy.
We just said, take off your shoes. Why are you taking off your pants?
Take your shoes off, not the rest of the clothes, but apparently, yes, it's everything.
Love that guy.
Yes.
That's my spirit animal.
I think he gets that from his other side of the family, not my side of the family. Anna, my dear, and Jenny, my dear, I know we have a little bit of time left. I would love to talk about Heart to Heart with Anna and the book studies and your heart mom stories, if you have that to share, your books.
Well, thank you so much, Amy. This is about you, sweetie, but I would love for everybody to listen to you when your show comes out later in March. I'm really excited about that, but I am super, super excited that I found your surgeon and that it was supposed to be a surprise. And Jenny can attest to the fact that I was bursting at the seams to tell you that I had found the surgeon, and then your husband, little stinker that he is, went and found him too. So that was really, really exciting that I was able to find him. And I can't wait for us to actually have you meet and go through the process that I went through to find him, because it was kind of fun. And through that, I found another heart warrior. And so I'm really, really looking forward to telling that story. But yes, I'm also a writer. I'm also an indie publisher, just like you are. It's kind of funny, just a lot older than you are. So I started my journey much longer ago. My son is 26 years old, and he was born with a congenital heart defect. So I put together a book of essays from women around the world who have been dealing with congenital heart defects, either as a mother, a grandmother, or as a survivor like Amy, who then became a mother like Amy did. So for a lot of us who were living with young children, when I first started putting the book together, talking to somebody like you, Amy, that was a dream, that our kids would grow up and be able to live productive lives. And Jenny is here too. She's another heart mom, and I think she has a beautiful story to share too. So I'll be quiet now so she can share her story.
Hi, Amy. I just have to say, my husband and I are reading this right now, as you know. This is Hubby. And oh my gosh, you know, I mean, I've written about it, I've posted about it. You really are an exquisite writer. The details, the story, it's unbelievable. I can't put it down. I think I told you I have to wait until Dan comes home at night, and he works very late every day. And so we can only squeeze in like a chapter at a time. And I'm like, oh my gosh, because we're reading it together. So, but it is something we look forward to every night. And I can't wait to read through all the rest of the ones that you have. So
That's so sweet.
you're amazing. You're doing a great job. As you know, we started a couple weeks ago. We learned of each other a couple weeks ago, and we started the
2.5
Heart
weeks ago, I
Project.
think, yeah.
Yeah, the Heart Community Collection, and I kind of feel like I know you ladies my whole life. I, like Anna said, have a book as well. It's called The Journey of Faith and an Open Heart. My daughter's had 8 open heart surgeries, and in a time when a lot of those surgeries were pioneered. And so it's kind of neat to hear about, you know, your surgery in and of itself lasting 6 hours back then. And now, you know, they can do that in 30 minutes, Dr. Chad said. So it's, you know, neat because you were a pioneer as well. And so, yeah, it's just kind of a neat journey to be on all of this with you guys.
Thank you, Jenny. And Anna's doing a book study for her book, Heart of a Mother, which is a collection, an anthology of essays written by heart moms. And every week we get together and we read several of, we read several of the essays in advance, and then we get together and we talk about them. And she has the actual authors with us. And it's always like, I cry every single time I read the chapters. And then I cry again when we get onto the meetings and we talk about these stories. So if you, it's a great way to digest a book, which Anna, I'm stealing this idea from you because I want to do a book study of snow in Vietnam. There's so many of my friends and family and others who say, I just don't have the time to read. And unlike a book club where you have to read it all and then meet together once a month, this is, digestible into bits and pieces and chapters. And so let's do Snow in Vietnam book study starting in April. We're almost out of time, ladies and gentlemen. Alvina?
Yes, I just want to share with many people here that because I was involved at the Hawkins camp, and some people have reached out to me and told me that this is the best camp in the world, where the refugees are given money every day, $2.50, and on weekends they are allowed to go out, which I brought the children out for picnic as well. And also the United Nations and many volunteers go there to teach them English, and food donated from Red Cross. And also every child is resettled. So this is the refugees in the 1980s on the Vietnamese boat people. But what I want to talk about is look at today's refugees. They are cold, they have not enough clothes, they have not enough food, and there's a lot of suffering. So I just hope that from our success story from the Vietnamese journey, we can also reach out to other areas and give a lift up, in little ways that we can, and spread love and kindness.
Thank you. Yes. I would love to be a part of it, as you know, because I was there, and I wouldn't be here today if I didn't have that kind of lift up service and help.
Well, Amy, we want to thank you for spending your precious time with us. Your story is powerful. I've heard this word numerous times tonight, heartwarming, and it's truly a story of resilience. And we thank you for bringing it to all of us and sharing it with all of us. We look forward to what's next.
Yay. Yes. I can't wait, you all. Do your virtual book launch parties if you're authors. Don't be afraid to do them. Okay. Don't let COVID or anything stop you. We can do this. And it's actually a lot of fun. I get to see everybody from different parts of the world all at once. With that, have a great night, everyone. Thank you. Enjoy your family time, and I will see you again soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Singapore time, 10:30 a.m.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's morning for you in Singapore. All
Amy,
right, bye. Thank you, Thomas. Bye. Hi, Jude.
Amy,
Thank you, everyone. Sean.
Did you
Bye.
forget the prizes?
I will do the drawing tonight, and I will announce them tomorrow, and I will make sure that each one of you that I select will get a chance to pick your prizes in the order that I draw your names. Yes?
Also
You're
be
going to have to
posting
figure
that.
out how to how you can package and mail your egg rolls outside of Oklahoma.
That's what the book's for.
That'll be your next thing. It'll be your product sales.
Well, maybe when I'm in Seattle.
How are you going to do this? Where will it be announced? Or
It's going to be announced everywhere you can find me, Carolyn. Don't you worry, honey.
like Facebook?
I will make sure it's sent via email. It's going to be on my YouTube channel. It's going to be on the Oklahoma City Writers page. It will be on my page. Yes, and I will contact you directly if I draw your name.
This is so neat. I've never seen anybody do this before. I think it's really a great idea. You're so full of ideas.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm giving you ideas to do yours too. So Anita, write a book and let's do your book launch party.
Okay.
All right.
Amy will be sharing a link to this recording so that those that want to either rewatch it or that weren't able to join us can listen to it as well.
Yep. My goal is to get this out to you guys and also put it on my YouTube channel. Okay. Good night, everyone. Good morning, Alvina. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.